Hello and welcome to the Vigilance Committee. Today we've got a little bit of a different type of show. We've got Culture Club USA here, and it's under we're under contract. She will be singing for us today. Here comes our intro. And I was teasing Debrava. We lost her, so she might be having some technical difficulties. She was having some earlier, so um,
Yeah, yeah,
she'll be back.
probably.
She'll
It
be back
figures.
on. Yeah.
But I do want to say hello to everyone. Oklahoma, AJOT, thank you for coming in. All of Culture Club's supporters, Drew Boo, Ricky Bobby, you guys, thank you for being here. Um, the reason why the title was Supporter from a Different Genre is because we ourselves have been focusing on, you know, our 1A community and saying that we need to have, you know, us as supporters for our boots on the ground. And yet, um,
There she is.
here, there you are. You just made your great, wonderful entrance. And here is our guest of honor today,
Hello,
Culture Club.
guys. I'm so happy to be here that I had to leave and come back again. I didn't even get an entrance.
You had to make sure that your dream came true, right?
My dream came true, guys. I am so sorry, okay? I'm not used to
She's like, I don't want to sing today. I'm out of here.
oh my god, what is going on? I like literally moved my earpiece and all I did was like I accidentally pulled out the audio. Okay, now I did talk. You know what? It was because I was bad mouthing my producers earlier, talking about water. Like, so that you see, God just showed me one, and then they came over and like, well, you're unplugged. I'm like, all right. Hello, everyone in the chat. First of all, you all's been here. Drew is here. Brandon Mitchell. Let's. Oh my God, you guys! I'm so
Daisy
happy.
May. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, like I was saying, the title of this was supporter of a different genre or from a different genre. Okay. Most of our people, our supporters, basically are from the 1A community.
Yep.
And they know the stories. They've seen it. So it's like we're preaching to the choir. However, that being said, and I've always said we need to bring more people into this community. It can't just be the ones who have already seen it and seen it and seen it.
Yep.
Well, by going over to your channel, Debrava, it's
Yep.
like she's always saying, that she supports the auditors, the 1A community. So I just thought that if we could bring your supporters with our supporters, that maybe the word would get spread to a different type of people.
100%. And you know what? I think what you're saying, Nikki, is so important because although everyone is glued to their phones, right? A lot of people are glued to their phones for the wrong reason. Right? It's like, you're scrolling through TikTok and you're scrolling through Instagram while things are happening right in front of your eyes, right? And I think more people like in the community, I mean, my channel is like a little bit of, it's comedy, parodies, reactions. And there is, on the ground reporting and stuff. I love that scene. It's where how I started the channel. More people need to be more aware of what's going on. And, COVID really opened my eyes to a lot of this. Oh, I'm not even supposed to say that, am I? See, this is
Yeah,
the
flu.
situation, the flu. Yeah. The city being shut down and, just how New York came back. I think it changed a lot of people, the way that they view authorities. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah,
it's like if we have a constitution, but it's not enforced, then what good is it? You can have all the laws you want. You can have free speech, but if it's not enforced, then what is that exactly? And that's kind of what's happened in New York City. So in my opinion, the auditors, they keep the checks and balances for the people. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because the government is corrupt. And to me, auditors are the only unbiased form of checks and balances for the people. Really. That's just
absolutely.
how I
And New
feel.
York City is like it's like the bastion of the rest of the country. It's and that's it reflects the rest of the country. The rest of the country reflects New York City. So
That's right.
um, well said.
That's right.
So what I kind of wanted to do is show a little bit of your body of work of your quote unquote culture and political parody today. So I got some videos up here. I got a couple of shorts that you did.
Oh, I
Um,
love doing my shorts.
so I'm going to start with this one here. Share it. And I don't know. I don't think I can make this one any bigger. Well, actually, maybe I can. Let's bring it out here like this. There we go.
This is one of my favorites. This is
Yeah,
one of my
because it talks
favorites.
about the migration issue, right?
Now, there's an interesting story behind this. Very interesting story behind this.
Okay,
I'll
well,
tell
I'll
you.
play it first, and then
Yeah.
you can tell us the story behind it. Here we go.
We have been jobless. We have been in need of medical care, the same things that they are being given freely and they got here illegally. You cannot expect any American, any New Yorker in their sound mind to accept and be agreeable to that. You absolutely cannot, because we are here legally. We are citizens. We work. We pay taxes, and you're taking our tax dollars and spending it on people who are here illegally, who you basically escorted into the city.
I think that was it.
She had it right. She had
Yes,
it
she
right.
did.
So it's so funny because that's part of the NYCHA story that I did for months, almost 8 months on different aspects of what was happening with NYCHA. And the illegals were just flooding through New York. I mean, I can't even describe to you what is going on in New York. If you go to Central Park, even still now, at around 5:15 in the morning, there is just illegals in the middle of the park. They have these drop-off spots, right? With a crew of people handing them information booklets, handing them all kinds of things, taking them to hotels, asking them where they want to go, bringing them to get licenses, okay? It's absurd what is happening. But with NYCHA in particular, what they were doing is there was a slew, they were kicking people out of apartments, okay, on section 8 and 9. And they were doing it by saying, "Oh, they would come in, and this is so disgusting what was actually going on. They would come in, and you have elderly people or people that just actually trust authorities. Come into your apartment. Oh, you need a renovation. Oh, you need a new fridge. You need a new stove. We're going to give you a new stove. We have an influx of money. We're doing some things for certain apartments. Oh, wonderful. I need a new stove. Okay, you just have to sign this here. Okay. And most Section 9 now, there are more protections there. Just sign this paperwork. So they'll give you a new refrigerator, a new microwave, right? You sign this paperwork, and now you realize what you just signed is that you have to leave in X amount of time. Some people only had 3 months. I mean, what they were doing is nuts. They were emptying these places out, filling them with illegals, okay? And the racket with the people in charge at NYCHA would blow your mind. They were so upset with me that actually that woman, Danette, sent me an email because I had gone into somebody's apartment, and they gave me a tour, and I spoke to them, said, what is happening? And they threatened me. They were threatening me. If you continue this, you're talking to drug dealers. I said, well, first of all, oh, okay, Aunt, like, what does that have to do with anything? And why I'm going to take what you're saying, I'm taking your word for what? You're literally getting kickback after kickback. There were so many people arrested from that situation at the top that was nuts. It was a huge racket. And, unfortunately, the people don't stand up. If everyone at NYCHA, even my videos, it was mind-boggling to me. I'm like, I'm helping you guys. I'm literally exposing stuff. But if you don't push it, if you don't get this out there with me, nothing is going to happen. Well, now they're knocking it down. You know what I'm saying?
So wait a minute. You were exposing something that was wrong,
Big-
and you got threatened.
Multiple times.
Isn't that kind of like our auditors who are filming on a public sidewalk in front of
Yes.
a courthouse,
Yes.
and they get drug in front of the judge because the judge says you can't
Exactly.
film?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you do understand what the auditors are going through.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's crazy to me that, like, for instance, NYCHA, like, a lot of the auditors, like, I watch a lot of Brandon Mitchell stuff, and it's like they're in specific situations, and you're literally trying to help the people. NYCHA, there are thousands of people in this public housing situation. Okay. Like, you literally could all come together, become auditors.
They don't realize they have the power.
That's the thing. It is so unbelievable to me.
Well,
They kicked me out of a
It's been
meeting.
ingrained in the education system that you have to respect authority. Just do what they tell you to do.
Exactly.
Oh, wait
yeah.
a minute, Cliff. Does that bring up some subject that we
Yep,
were
we're
talking
going to
about?
bring that up later. Yeah, I definitely want to bring that up later.
Crazy.
But so I've got another one, political parody here that I want to share, and I'm going to share the main one first. We'll pause in between for questions.
Okay.
But let me stop sharing this one first of all. There we go. And then present, and with my tremors, it takes me a second to get things pulled up.
No worries.
There we go.
And while we're waiting on that, I do want to say thank you to everyone for being here and coming in. Yeah, sorry I haven't been able to say hello to everyone individually like I normally do, but I do see you. I do appreciate you guys being here. And I guess
we
Cliff
actually
has it
have-
up.
Yeah, we actually have Luz Cunt in the chat too.
I figured I'd let you
It
say
is-
his name.
He's a legend as far as moderators go.
Hello to everyone, and thank you so much for coming in to see me on this show. I'm so happy. I see some definitely, familiar faces here.
Oh yeah.
Wingspan, Brandon, I say
U-Haul.
all the time,
U-Haul's in
U-Haul,
here.
of course. U-Haul cracks me up.
All
Gotta
right,
love
so this one is this is the lady that you support, Kamala Harris.
Oh, I just love her. Don't you know I'm absolutely crazy about Kamala. Now, why do you think that we should have an Indian in office? Because she is not Indian, she's black. Okay. Now, what I want to say is Kamala Harris is absolutely going to save America. Okay. 1% of the vote when she was running for president, which tells us that every single person is dying to have her as the president. I mean, give me a break. I would take Biden over her. This is ridiculous. I mean, really, people. So here's the thing. This is crazy now. This is why the auditor community is important. Okay. We're gonna allow these people to literally install her into office now. Think
Yeah,
about it.
that's
That's how
basically
Kathy
what they
Hochul got
want to
in.
do. Yeah.
That's how Kathy Hochul got in. It's like you can't. Like, so we just change the laws and change the rules when it's convenient for us. Like how are these judges and DAs and how is this happening? We are literally headed to a serious hardcore communist country. I'm just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's boggling.
I get what you're saying. I just figure both sides are two wings of the same bird. That's all corrupt government. It's so
No two sides at the top.
yeah.
No two sides at the top. Money,
Right.
power.
Yeah, yeah. So I think you just came out with this one yesterday too. So I'm not going to play all of it. If you guys want to see
Okay.
the whole thing, you'll have to go over to Culture Club USA and subscribe to her channel and click on a video. Of course, make sure you hit the like button, share, make comments.
Thank you.
And but I'm going to play a little bit of it here just because I like the satire of it and I like your Indian accent.
You got to have fun. Maybe people will listen then.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go.
Tyrant is in the chat. Hey.
Hey, TV.
What are you hearing? Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. And let me tell you, you're right, Taraji.
Kamala, what is going on? Kamala, I'm telling you right now. Do you know what happened last week? Tucker Carlson's producer showed up to the Delhi spice market in India and bought all your father's spices. You know why? He for the truth. The truth! How dare you! The Indian Scams Development and Research Center, the Indian group of call centers that put you and Joe Biden in office. We will not get you elected again. I will call Megyn Kelly, I will call Sean Hannity, and I will call Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. And by the way, M. Night Shyamalan called me yesterday and said, guess what? He is done with the movies and he is ready to do documentarians. You
Documentarians.
I mean, Cliff, when you say that, I mean, is it the civil circus? I named it that way because I'm like, my father is always like, this is a clown show. What is this? And he's like, you know, my dad, he likes it when I do the politicals. He's like, are you doing these prostitutes again? He's like,
the OnlyFans Club. Yeah, I mean, when you do those shows, I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah. Like, is it politics or prostitutes? And I'm like, Dad. Okay. So, like, you know what? He's right. It is a clown show. This is the civil circus. Because literally, how we, the people, allow these people to have power over us, I just cannot fathom at this point. It's I mean, everything that we have known, you know, what America's about, the founding fathers, it's all just gone. Not all of it, obviously, but we're getting close. I mean,
Yeah.
what's next?
Yeah. I mean, and it's all, you know, it's been going on for decades and decades, you know, especially with the school system, teaching conformity and indoctrination, and they don't teach what's right anymore. And if you buck against it, you pay the price. I was just telling you earlier about what happened to me when I was a kid. You know, all through I got kicked out of kindergarten because they said you had to take a nap, and I said I ain't tired. I'm not taking a nap. I mean,
I
but you
mean,
got to do what they tell you to do when they tell you to do it, and you taught that way in school. That when you become an adult, you're supposed to be a lot more docile. Well, I never grew out of
exactly. Good for you.
it.
You
Yeah.
know, school is where it all starts. It's like that's
Yep.
where the indoctrination starts. That's where we get used to this, like, you know, like working like little I don't even know if I can say the word, but you know, little bots, you know, controlled operatives. It's like, think about it. All the stuff I covered in New York, I covered, you know, my doc, all the major protests. I went undercover in Antifa. That was mind boggling. The mindset of these kids and their kids. Their kids. Like to see high school kids actually believing this propaganda is nuts. And it all starts in the school this goes way back before it. I mean, my father would tell me this goes back to like Carter, you know, in the Department
Actually,
of
it goes even farther than that. It goes back to
Further.
the 20s when Wilson was in office.
Wow.
President Woodrow Wilson in 1914. He's the one that started
Wow.
the modern education system. So,
And our education system, when this school system was Little House on the Prairie, okay, and we had privatized school before the government got involved, that's how it's supposed to be. Why are we in government school systems? To me, it just doesn't make any sense. And our system, correct me if I'm wrong, our school system here is a Prussian school system. That's where they got it.
mhm.
They took it from the
Yep.
Prussian at the time system, okay? Like I was homeschooled for a long, long time, which I think is why a lot of this stuff I'm like, I don't understand this. A boy is not a boy, a girl is not a girl. I mean, over the last few years and the recent stuff is just nuts. Like my
Yep.
nephew's like 6 now and he's like, TT, I'm like, what? The teacher told you could marry a boy or a girl, and he's like, I don't know where, and he got suspended. He's like in first. I'm sitting here going, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? It's
Yeah, but
nuts.
those are these issues are mainly they're distractions to take away from what the real problem is teaching conformity,
Yes.
to respect authority, to just do what you're told, keep your
Yep.
mouth shut, raise your hand, get in line,
Yep.
speak only when they call on you to be able to speak. I mean, they don't teach. They don't even teach the First Amendment of the Constitution at all. So,
It's
um,
unbelievable.
yeah, it's all indoctrination.
Yep.
Well,
And if
I
you
can
buck
tell
against it,
you.
they think something's wrong with you. You're odd. And,
Isn't that
yep.
crazy?
Well, we're going to get into that too. I'm gonna actually pull up the definition of odd, so
There
that
you
you
go.
actually see what it means. Um, but that's all I wanted to show about this one. Now, if you guys want to see more of this particular one, I only played 1 minute. It's 22 minutes, so definitely go to Debrava's channel and watch it. She just put
Thank you, Cliff.
I didn't want to put much of it just because you just put it out. So
Thank you. Civil circus. I figured if I bring some comedy and political satire, maybe people will actually listen to what I'm actually saying on top of
yep. And now I want to play something that is one of your most popular. I think it came in as number 2.
Okay.
And I was pretty interested in it. It's only 8 minutes 35 seconds, so it's not too long. I'm still not going to play the whole thing, but I wanted to play a good portion of it because you made some really good points in this one as well about the
Okay.
American dream.
This is one of my favorites.
So let's make it big. There we go.
Have you ever pondered the American dream? Is it a beacon of hope or a glorified illusion? Let's take a moment to untangle this enigma that has for decades been the cornerstone of America's cultural ethos. The American Dream, a phrase so powerful and seductive that it has lured millions to its shores. It's not just about a house with a white picket fence or making your first million before you hit 30. No, it's something far more profound. It's the belief in the freedom that allows each individual to pursue their own version of happiness, unfettered by the shackles of birth or social class. This dream, this promise of a better life, was first articulated by the historian James Thrussell Adams in the year 1931. He envisioned a land where life should be better and richer and fuller for everyone, with opportunity for each according to their ability or achievement. A dream so deeply ingrained in the American psyche, it's almost a part of its DNA. But where did this dream originate? Was it born out of the fertile soil of a new world where endless possibilities awaited the brave and the bold? Or was it a construct, a cleverly crafted narrative to attract the ambitious, the hopeful, and the desperate from around the globe? The American dream, in all its glory and complexity, is a mirage that shapeshifts according to the beholder's perspective. For some, it's the embodiment of hope, a testament to the boundless opportunities that America offers. For others, it's an elusive illusion, always just out of reach, no matter how hard they strive. As we set out on this journey, we'll see how this dream has twisted and turned, reflecting the changing tides of society. Has it been a golden ticket to prosperity for all? Or has it been a cruel tease, always promising and seldom delivering? As we delve deeper, we will explore how the legend of this dream has expanded over time and whether it still holds its original allure. But remember, just like any dream, the American dream too is subject to interpretation, and its reality may be as diverse as the nation it represents.
Are you a Rocky Mountain Power customer? How would you like to
Commercial.
get paid to
Wow, they do put commercials on it.
The American Dream.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get the Nikki. Remind me, will you, that we're gonna have to get it where we don't get interrupted by commercials. We're gonna have to pay for that package. It doesn't really cost that much, right?
No, you know, I ended up getting it too because I was getting so many commercials because literally I mean, it's like, are they going to pay any of us for anything? Or what? Oh, God. I guess that's an example of the American dream, right?
Yeah.
Get monetized and make no money.
Yep, capitalism. Nothing wrong with capitalism. I like
No.
capitalism.
Me too.
If it works.
If it works.
If they don't pick winners and losers like they do. Yeah.
That's the problem. It's the chosen.
Yep.
The chosen. That's the thing. Yep.
Whoever pays the government more money gets all the breaks.
Yeah. Yep. It's a bureaucracy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I'm so honored that you like that because, you know, when I first started this channel, I was really just writing and doing a lot of those. And I really was just going to do that because I was working on a doc and I'm like, wow, you know, things are so upside down and backwards. Like
Yeah.
what people in other countries actually see America as it's supposed to be. It's just not.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's like I say, when I was 10 years old, I read the Constitution, I read the Bill of Rights, and I was like, something's not right here.
Yeah.
You could figure it out then. It was such an easy read, you know.
Exactly.
And it really is an easy read, folks. So if you haven't read it, especially the Bill of Rights, read it. It's so simple.
You know, it's so funny. My dad gave me these 2 little booklets. I wish I had it. Actually, no, I don't have it. It's the Constitution, and it's like this big. It's like you really need it. I'm like, okay. You know, it's like, you know, I get you start waking up to things too, and you're just like, what is going on? Especially when you know you're on your own. You know, you're kind of like, you know, finding your way, and I don't know. You know, ever since the flu. You started realizing a lot of things like, oh, I'm not allowed to go into this
Yeah, I think it was a testing ground to see how far our government could go on things, right, Nikki?
big time.
Let's see. What can I say that won't get us in trouble?
Yeah, I'm
How
trying to
about
play it.
nothing?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oklahoma outlaw audits? No, we don't have anything. Tyrants beware. Thank you for being here. And CC, just in case you didn't know, Tyrants Beware wrote both our intro and our outro.
Yeah.
Excuse me. He needs to like I know he
He
has a
needs to
playlist.
charge
Okay.
for his services, right?
Hello. My nephew is like crazy about the song he did. Like there's 4, but he's like, Culture Club USA. He's like, man, that dude is cool looking. I want that mask. You know how many times I'm trying to find this thing? I'm going, all right, Anthony, I'll try to find it. You know, he's like, man, Culture Club USA. And I'm like, now, when a kid is like singing that, that is like a pop record.
Yeah.
He is so good with every single one of the songs. I've never heard anything bad. It's like he
Yeah.
needs to literally charge for his services.
Yep,
Incredible.
he does. I agree. He should. All right, I'm going to play a little bit more of this. I
Okay.
want to get to a certain part here.
It wasn't always about cliche white picket fences and picture perfect families. Imagine this, the 17th century, where suburban bliss wasn't a lure for the first settlers. It was the enticing idea of endless opportunity and freedom. They dreamed of a place where anyone could make it by working hard. The New World was about survival, not prosperity, but the dream preserved, fueling the growth of early colonies. The Industrial Revolution then turned everything around. It wasn't about survival.
Yeah, the Industrial Revolution
Revolution.
started
Yep.
in the late 1800s.
Yep.
And then they needed to change the education system so that they could need out workers. They need workers to work in all these plants, right?
Want school to work. School
Yeah.
to work.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Teach you how to
Yep.
get a job. Yep.
Exactly. No individualism. Just go work.
Yep.
in the
And
factory.
before the Industrial Revolution, 95% of the American people actually worked for themselves.
Isn't that
They
incredible?
never had a thought or a dream of working for somebody else. It was just indentured servants and slaves.
Yep.
So if you got into debt, you could sell yourself out for a certain number of years to pay off the debt. So because back then they had debtor's prison. So it's
Wow.
like,
I did not know that.
oh yeah,
Wait a minute. Wait
Wow.
a minute.
Wow.
Are you
Now
saying
that's
that
interesting.
are you saying that back then they didn't hand out participation trophies to
no,
everybody?
Everyone's a
you
winner.
you had to work, man. You had to. You couldn't just live off the government. You either worked and you had to pay your bills, your debts, because that's like giving your word. You promised to pay this loan, you better pay it. Otherwise, you're going to go to work as an indentured servant, so that the master is going to pay your debts for you, and then you pay them back by working for them for a certain number of years. Nothing wrong with that. That would be more fair.
It would be more fair. It would be more fair. I mean, we are literally school to work,
Mhm.
soldiers.
Yeah, well, and that's
Literally
what you're doing. You're
soldiers.
trading
Absolutely.
time. You're trading your time, which is the most precious commodity,
Yeah.
to work for someone else for a certain dollar amount. And who's to say what your hour a day is worth? I mean, it's like, and they pick and choose what they're going to pay you, and you just either accept it or you don't work for them. And if you don't work for them, you might not be able to pay your debts, and then you end up working for them anyway. Back then, when you had debtor's prison, so it was forced into it. Um, but before that, it's just farmers, ranchers, merchants, um, and there was a lot of wealth from that, and the government didn't have a lot of. In fact, I don't think they had any restrictions on whether or not you could start your own business back then. It was just pure free
Interesting.
enterprise. Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, look what they've done to the farmers in this country.
Yeah, they pick the winners and losers.
Yeah. It's
80% of family farms are now owned by a corporation.
100%.
Yep.
100%. There's an orchard near my parents, and it's like one of the few, and a couple of small farms. And I grew up across the street from a farm. My dad's best friend had a farm, and I had like Matilda the goat was like a pet of mine, and we rode the horses and stuff. But it literally, what they did to him to get that land to build mansions on it. I mean, this is what it's just like. There is no. You can't get away from the government. They could literally just steal your land. Like, we're in crazy times, and I don't know if it's new just because it's new to me to see what's happening, but like what you're saying, both of you guys, when people worked for themselves and you could be self-sufficient and didn't have to depend on corporations for everything. I mean, people in the city can't even eat. Literally, I go home to my parents and everything comes from the garden. You know what I'm saying? If the grocery store burnt down, I could literally survive. There's a farm 2 blocks away. Go get some eggs. You can get some, you know what I'm saying? In the city, it's like people depend on Whole Foods for everything. If Whole Foods closed, nobody would eat. You know what I mean?
Well, I used to be an over-the-road truck driver too, and I used to haul produce from California to Chelsea's Market in Boston and Hunts Point in the Bronx, New York.
Interesting.
And if the truck stopped rolling, after 3 days, the grocery stores would be empty. It would
Wait
only
a
take 3
minute.
days.
Wait a
3
minute.
days?
Are you saying that my food that's in the grocery store doesn't just magically appear there?
People take
Yeah.
these things for granted, and it's like
They do.
I can't eat out. Like, okay, it's so people like my fiance. They get so annoyed at me because I'm like, no, I'm not eating that. Like, I'd rather eat home because I like everything. I like to cook my food, and I like to know what I'm eating.
And you like to know where it came from and what chemicals was put on it
Look at Whole
and
Foods.
Why do we have an FDA?
For nothing? Okay,
It's so that the government can get paid off to allow your food to be produced and sold on the market. You got to pay off the government to be able to do that. That's the whole point of the FDA. And
100%.
that food's not safe.
For McDonald's to add 30% plastic into buns, and then you wonder why everybody in this country is. What was that documentary? Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead on Netflix. Okay. You wonder why everyone's sick. It's not sick. Half the people, it's not really because you're overeating. There is plastic. We are literally eating chemicals. It is so difficult to find organic foods that literally just came from the ground. You know what I'm saying? Now, Whole Foods, have you guys seen what they are doing? That 365 or whatever brand, it's Chinese. Like, cucumbers are being made in a lab in China and shipped here, and they're calling it organic. I started looking at it, what is this? These cucumbers taste
And it's FDA approved. FDA approved.
FDA approved, just like McDonald's. How do you put plastic or sawdust? Like, it's like my father likes, grated cheese. I gotta go. Like in New York, it's like you can't even find without what is that stuff that's in it? It's like sawdust. It's literal sawdust. And the FDA, just go hire a law firm.
There's a lot of plastic in cheeses too.
Plastic. It's disgusting.
I worked in a cheese factory. So
did you really?
When
Is
I was
it
young.
true that there is sawdust? What is that word that's in like grated cheese? I have to look for it, and I'm like, oh no. First of all, I don't even buy anything that's like, if it's in a box or what, I'm just like, well, forget it. I try at least because I don't want to be sick. It's unavoidable.
I didn't eat it.
Crazy. Crazy. Well, thank God you didn't. Well, that tells me a lot because you're working.
And this was in the 80s. I also worked in a slaughterhouse. So
what was that like?
For a while? Well, let's just say I never eat bologna or hot dogs.
Oh no. That's off limits.
Well, bologna and hot dogs is because that's the leftovers and whatever fell on the floor and anything that they can throw in the grinder to mush up. We all know that.
They call it head
Yeah.
cheese. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
meat that they cut off of the head. Yeah.
Oh
You
my
know,
God.
Yeah.
but the other thing about Whole Foods or even growing your own food,
Mhm.
like your feed that you use for your chickens, your cows, your goats, whatever,
Exactly.
that all has to be FDA approved. How many chemicals are in that?
A ton.
Well,
Where
how many animal products are in chicken feed?
right.
It's crazy. They're killing us. I get so passionate about this because that documentary, that Vatican nearly dead. I was in shock. And then there's another one, Knives Over Forks. And I'm not like a vegan, right? Or but I am just in shock at the amount of plastic and chemicals in our food.
Have we got any auditors in here that have ever done a FOIA request on how much the budget is for the Federal Drug Administration every year?
Ooh.
If somebody looked that up, I mean, you could literally do away with it, have the free market actually work,
Yeah.
and people would have to take the poisons out of their foods. Otherwise, people won't buy them. Let the market work freely
Yeah.
instead of, they have to pay so much money to the FDA. That's the reason why, all that cost goes to the consumer of what they
100%.
pay off the end FDA just so they can do business. So get rid of
100.
the FDA, they can make their food safer.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's so simple to fix everything, right? But too many pockets are being lined.
Privatizing. If you
Yeah.
privatize things, it
Yeah.
makes it simpler.
Right.
Anytime you have government entities, bureaucrats, they want to make things more complicated, and they're inept and incompetent, and they
100%.
flat out don't care either.
Oh,
They just
Nope.
want to get
firm
theirs.
firm audits. It's 7.2 billion billion that
Yeah.
the FDA gets.
Yeah.
And it's not just
Wow.
the
That's just one
chemical.
small.
Yeah. But it's
Wow.
not just the chemicals and the fact that there are those of us out there who do like our tomatoes and cucumbers growing right outside our front door. But it's today's society. Like I said, they look at it as, you mean my meat doesn't come from the supermarket?
Nikki.
No, I'm serious.
Oh yeah.
My stepson was dating a girl who absolutely refused to eat a tomato out of the garden because we put cow manure in the dirt
That's the
to
best
fertilize it.
way to fertilize. Hello. What? Oh
It
my
was
God.
dirty. It
Was
was
she from New York City?
dirty.
Was she an out of towner? It's got to be from New York City.
Absolutely from the city and from public schools. Yeah.
100%.
So there's plenty of other government entities that could go away that are just useless waste.
Yeah. Like the
Um,
Department of Education. Bye.
yeah,
Like,
that's where the biggest budget comes from what I understand. This was back. Oh, my son looked it up. I think 20 years ago, and he said it was the they had the largest budget of any government entity was the Department of Education.
It's bigger than the
Um,
defense fund right
yeah,
now.
it's bigger than any other
Explain that to me.
department.
So, Cliff, let me ask you a question. How are we 24th, okay, in math and 25th in reading? Can somebody explain this to me? People cannot read. They can't
Yeah.
write, they can't read, they can't do basic math. I mean, what
Because
is
it's not taught. It's not. They don't teach that stuff anymore.
and the budget that the taxpayers are paying for these public school systems is larger than the defense budget. I mean, what are we doing here?
They're
I mean,
too busy teaching people about social norms and cultural type stuff, right?
Yep, and socio-emotional learning,
Yeah. Yeah.
value clarification. Oh, I say this all the time. Johnny killed his dad. Well, Johnny, you're not supposed to kill, but why did you kill your dad, Johnny? Oh, I felt I should have because he smacked my mom. Okay, Johnny. Well, if you felt you should have, then it was okay. I mean, what are we doing? This is insane.
Yeah.
Actually
What's
a
up is
lesson
down,
to
what's in is out, what's right is wrong, and what's wrong is right. Yeah.
this. I have a premiere coming out
Inverted.
at 9 tonight, and I had like they were like this. The producer's like, "Oh, you're gonna get deleted," and I'm like, "All right, all right." I mean, when is it that like what I identify as? So if I identify right now as a cat, I guess that's what I am. Well, I
Yeah,
feel I
that's
feel
that's
like
how
a
they
lion
teach it.
right now. So I'm not a human. I'm not a female. I'm just a lion. I mean,
There you go. Hear you roar.
yeah.
As long
I
as
mean,
it doesn't sound like a cow, I'm okay with it.
nuts. This is crazy. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thank God for my parents. My God.
So you said you have a live tonight at 9?
At 9.
That's Eastern time, right?
Yes.
What time is it there now?
It is
7:46. You've got an
7:46.
hour.
Oh,
An
got-
hour.
And I don't
we
have
got
to go
plenty of
until,
time. I'm going to keep you the whole time, too. No, I'm not going to keep
I don't
you the
have to
whole
go
time.
until like a minute before. It's just a premiere. So.
Plus,
Okay.
plus, remember, she's always 5 or 10 minutes late anyway.
Exactly. Exactly.
Fashionably late. Ladies can do that.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
All right, I'm gonna play a little bit more of this because I want to get to that certain point here, the certain sweet spot that I want to discuss. Here
Okay.
we go.
Survival anymore. It was about accumulating wealth. Factories rose, creating jobs and opportunities for wealth, giving birth to the self-made man. The middle class emerged, embodying the dream with steady jobs, homes, and education for their kids. The dream had become a reachable goal. Yet, it wasn't perfect, but the American dream retained its allure, offering hope to those seeking a better life. Throughout the last century, the dream was alive and well, but as we move forward, we'll see how it started to unravel. As we delve into the saga of the American dream, we'll highlight the ups and downs that have shaped it for a better understanding of its significance today. Fast forward.
So it all started with the American Revolution, and then it got worse from here. After people settled on getting jobs, they were still able to buy homes. They were still able to live a decent life. So here we go.
Forward to the 20th century, the dream seems to be slipping away. Why is that? Let's take a moment to ponder on the current state of affairs. The American dream, once a beacon of hope, is now shrouded in a cloud of uncertainty. The reasons are manifold, so let's dissect them one by one. Firstly, we have the ever-winding chasm of income equality. It's like a game of Monopoly, where the rich keep getting richer while the middle class and the poor fight for the remaining crumbs. The top 1% of households now hold more wealth than the bottom 50% combined. Now, that's not a dream. That's a nightmare, and it's happening right here, right now. Next in line, we have the student debt crisis. Once upon a time, education was seen as the golden ticket to the American dream. But now, it's more like a ticket to a lifetime of debt. Students are
Notice how everybody was raising their hand? They wanted to answer the question.
Soldiers. Yep. Trained.
leaving universities with a diploma in one hand and a bill for tens of thousands of dollars in the other. And the worst part, there's no guarantee for a job at the end of it all. It's like buying a lottery ticket, but the prize is just an entry-level job. Lastly, we have the housing market crash. The white picket fence dream turned into a nightmare when the housing bubble burst in 2008. Millions.
So in 2008, guess what I was doing, Debrava?
Working for Obama in the White House.
No, I was actually working for a lead generation company for real estate agents.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
That must have been interesting.
the business went under because all the market crashed. Nobody was buying or selling.
Wow.
So, yeah,
Wow.
everybody got caught up in that. Yep.
Yep.
But the banks got bailed out.
Oh, of course they did. Now, why wouldn't the banks get bailed out? Okay. I
Big
mean,
corporations. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And they're the ones that got us into that mess.
Isn't that lovely? They
Yep.
destroy us and get richer.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's the same cycle.
Yep.
Crazy.
millions lost their homes, and the aftershocks are still felt today. The dream of home ownership is now just that, a dream, and for many, it's out of reach. In the sum, the rising income inequality, the student debt crisis, and the housing market crash have dealt a significant blow to the American dream. It's like being promised a delicious apple pie, only to find out it's made of plastic.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car.
The dream appears to be fading, but is it really? Well, for now, let's just say the American dream, as we know it, is going through a bit of a rough patch.
And where does it go from here?
Where does it go from
Um,
here? It's a trap.
Yep. Yeah.
It's a trap.
So that's where we're going to leave it right there. So if
Wait.
you guys want to know where it goes from here, you got to go to the Bravo's channel. Culture Club.
You mean the American dream isn't getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, getting in your car, going and spending
No.
8, 10, 12 hours working for someone else for a set wage,
Yeah. No, it's not.
then
That isn't the
coming
American dream
home
anymore. I watched
and
the whole thing.
realizing that you can't pay your bills and you are living on credit and
Both my
then you have
daughters
to
are
file
living the American
bankruptcy.
dream right now.
Yep.
They are
School
doing
loan.
what they want to do, and they don't have the student loan debt.
Me neither. Because you know what my father told me? He said, sweetheart, college is a waste of time. Are you
And
going to be
money.
a freaking surgeon? I'm going to go with no. I'm
Yep.
like, he's like, no. No. I mean, talk about you go into debt. And I mean, every single thing we do is like in debt. I don't have one iota of debt because thank God, again, I think it has a lot to do with the parents. You
Mhm.
know, it's like, you know, you luck into that too. Luckily, I was lucky. You know, my father and mother have been spewing this since I was born. You know what I mean? It's just like this, it's such an illusion. And you know what? My father always says they want you to own nothing and be happy. Own
Yep.
nothing and be happy. And it's like
Yeah,
majority
and
of people there.
before there were refrigerators and
Mhm.
freezers, people weren't interested in that. They even said, "What do we want that for?"
Yeah,
No, they've created the need, right? They
course.
created the need. It's like washing machines. What do we need that? I got this roller right here. And
Right,
it's
right.
all to make people lazy. It's all convenient. It's all
Yep,
faster,
yep.
more time efficient. Everything they wanted to be easy so that they would be able to work them, 40 hours a week
Exactly.
or more.
Guarantee. Yes. And it's like, and then, you know, it's funny because also, you know, the government, you know, it's like right now, like it's like a Hegelian dialectic. It's just create the problem to implement the solution you want. Like
Yeah,
Washington, like, we don't need that. Oh, well, now you're not allowed to
but
dry
it's
your
gonna
clothes in New
cost.
York City. Right,
It's gonna cost money.
right.
Create that problem, and then they get the solution, but it's gonna cost money, people.
And they
Yeah,
get rich off of it. And what you said too, to me, is so important because everybody wants everything now.
hmm
It's mind-boggling to me how people don't understand what putting
and
work
and
in
half the time they don't even want to press the button for it. They just want it to magically appear.
crazy. It's crazy.
I
It really is.
remember growing up as a kid. I was the remote control for my dad's TV. We had 3 channels. He said, "Go up there and turn that knob to the right
Right.
over to channel 8."
Right. It's so funny because I don't even have kids. Like I've canceled it. Like I don't care. I don't want to see it. I don't, I'd rather, watch YouTubers like you, like the news, like you want me to watch the news. Like we're so indoctrinated. It's like
Yeah,
everything is propaganda down to the movies.
yeah,
Down
it
to the
is. Well,
movies.
Hollywood's always been like that too. They've always been propaganda for the government. Yeah,
Unbelievable. From
yeah,
way back when, bringing all the
yeah.
communists in,
Mhm.
writing in disguise, pushing all these agendas to get us all used to this
Yep.
stuff. And now look at us. Like, I'm the oddball because I'm like, well, a man's a man and a woman's a woman. Okay. the arguments. Okay, I'm an oddball because I'm like the government's corrupt. Like,
Yep.
Joe Biden is. I mean, what are we talking about here? Like elected. Like, what planet are we on? Yeah, I mean, nothing makes sense. There's no common sense anymore whatsoever. That's why it's like I got to get out of New York City.
Yep.
You know what I
And
mean?
Yep. And people are so distracted by pop culture. This
Yep.
is your most popular video.
Ah, I know. Yep, I know what this is.
Hip hop.
Yep,
Yeah. Most popular video.
yep,
How many views? 203,000 views.
yep.
How interested people are in culture.
You know what's funny about this video?
Yeah.
Very, very few people actually even understood what I did in this video. This video, and it's pretty short, but the hip hop people and the community that came up from the history of hip hop, what I was trying to tell them, okay, in a comedic way, is that you gave yourselves up to the industry. The corporate warlords own you. They used you. You signed it away. You will own nothing and be happy. And now, when they were done with you, they got rid of you. You know what I'm saying? They used you to push propaganda. Now you're not getting paid. Only the select few. And when they're done with you, look at P Diddy. I mean, my
Yeah.
God. Yeah, keep doing all this
Yeah.
stuff. When they're done with you, they're done with you. They'll put you done. That's why Hollywood people would say to me, "Oh, why you should have went to SM. Are you nuts? I could never wear." My father laughed. He's like, "Her? Are you kidding me? Never, not in a million years. You couldn't get me to do anything for these people." You know what I'm saying? It's so corrupt. It's just a big propaganda nightmare.
And it's a distraction from the American
Big
people
time.
too, to just keep
Big
them thinking about these kinds of things and
Yep.
propagating.
Winning.
Yeah,
Yep.
so they're not paying attention to what their government is doing to them.
Yep.
You know.
Materialistic. I want money. I want this. I don't want to work for it. I want
Yeah.
money. I want cars. I want rims. It's more important for me to have, a $100,000 car and not own a house, not own an apartment, not have,
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm on the government insistence, but I'm going to get $100,000 car, drive that around. I mean,
Right.
these make
Great
no
investment, right?
sense. Like, make no
I was I was once told anything on wheels is not to be invested in. So
That's why my car's used. Seriously, the
Yeah.
minute you drive it,
Yeah.
my dad's like, "Oh no, 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 no! You're getting used." Like,
Yep.
you
Yep.
drive it off the lot, cut
Yep.
it in half.
my
Yep.
Volkswagen Jetta is a 2013. So
There you go. There you go.
but it gets me around just fine, you know.
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't need anything fancy.
You really don't.
And most people in so you're in your what, mid-20s, right? Your generation is more about doing what you love. That's the career that you want to go into. That you want to do what you love doing, so it doesn't seem like a day's work in your life.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't
Yeah.
that crazy?
That's the way
It's
it should be. I think
yes,
that's the way they should. They
that's
should
right.
just pick what they want to do in life and go for it. And no matter what it takes, don't give it up.
You can't give it up though. See, because a lot of
Yeah.
people like
But you got to
Gen Z,
work.
you got to work. See, that's the
Yeah.
thing. They
Yeah.
want to make it look like everything's so easy, even YouTube. Well, it takes work. These things just
Yeah.
don't appear. But if you're passionate about it, which I love doing it, then
Yep.
it's something I love to do. That doesn't mean it's not
And
work
it
though.
and it doesn't seem like work though, because you're
Not when you
enjoying
love
it.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that you're right. That is the new way. You can't
Yep.
do something. Oh, I got to be a doctor because my grandmother told me I have to. I got to be a lawyer because she wants me to be a lawyer. You know what I mean? Those days are kind of over, I think, and I hope at least. I mean, that's one good thing that's coming on the forefront, I think.
Yep.
Um,
How many people in the chat love hip hop and still think it's relevant today after 50 years? Come on.
people
There's
got
got to
so
be
mad.
somebody in here. I'll play that video if you. Come on, it's the most popular one. No, but I do listen to it.
Vermont, you are funny. You know, that's why it's split. It's satire. The hip hop video.
They're afraid. I think they're afraid to say it. They don't want to. They don't want to disappoint Cliff.
Say it,
I
just
think.
say
But they'll sneak away and go watch it on Culture Club USA. They'll watch this video later. I guarantee it.
Anybody that likes politics, it's really political. The nasty messages, the comments I got was, who do you think you are? That's not true. I'm like, yeah, it's dead. Just like all your careers, it's over. You've been used. It's done. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
music, the music industry itself, it's like when look at AI. Look,
Yeah.
like what do you
It's
mean?
taken over.
It's taken over.
Yeah.
Four
Well,
amazing
that's how TV comes up with the songs. It's all AI.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I play a little bit of this? Because she's basically saying it's over for hip hop.
Hip hop is dead.
I'm gonna play just a little bit of.
I thought hip hop died in the 80s.
Exactly. Exactly.
I want
Exactly.
to play just a little bit. I want to see what Culture Club says about hip hop.
Okay.
All right, here we
A
go.
lot of people hate me over this. Got knocked in Virginia and needs bail, but the crew is down 2 keys, and Poppy's blowing up the jack for that re-up money. But Wiz blew trial and went OT with all the cash and the dope. Yeah, we know about that too. Hello, America, FBI and CIA agents and fellow cult members. I'm Debrava. Hip hop turned 50 this year. And during the predictable year-long slate of festivals, arena shows, stadium extravaganzas, and underwhelming award show tribute segments, it's fairly easy to come to an obvious conclusion. Hip hop is dead.
There we go.
Right then and there, they were like, first you're making fun of us. And I'm like, yeah, because exactly what we were talking about earlier. It's like, let's look at hip hop. Like in the 80s, when hip hop was hip hop, it was a different thing. When
It
it
was.
when it got to the corporate warlords and your messaging and all of this shooting up, and let me go buy a Bentley and put $4,000 rims on a car and not own a house. I mean, what are we doing here? Do you know how ridiculous these messages are? I'm like,
Yeah.
it's dead, you're done. And then they just threw you out anyway. I mean, that video is so deep. My father was like, oh girl, you're gonna ooh. He was like, I don't know. You be ready for the hate. He's like, it might get you some hits though. And all my subscribers, I think people subscribed just to tell me how much they hated me. Some people were like,
Yeah.
wow, you're right. You're right. But very few.
So when you're right, though, that's when people buck it, because 95% of the people out there are the conformists, and whatever they say is whatever the Heathers say is popular, that's what's supposed to be popular. And boy, they'll turn on you. They'll turn on you on a dime if you go against that
Exactly.
crowd.
Exactly. You
Cool.
should see the video. The something funny I did today. There was something trending on, Kamala Harris, like a woman threatening everybody. If you don't vote for Kamala, then you Trump support. It's like it's not even about Trump support. Okay,
Kind
it's
of like Biden when he said, "If you don't vote for Obama, you ain't black."
that's exactly right. And he had the audacity to go on like a black radio station. Okay, we're gonna
Yeah.
talk about racist. Okay, Trump, all these people, but Biden isn't. Okay, if you say so. I mean, and what does that even mean? Like, I mean, we are in such an odd space. It's like
Yeah.
there's no free speech. You can't. I'd rather have people tell me what they think. I'd rather know what's on their mind. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like, why are we holding people back from saying anything? Let them say
Well,
it. Would you rather know?
Yep. Speaking of odd, we'll make this as big as I can here. Can we make this even bigger? Because I want to show the definition of it, Nikki.
Ah,
I want to point out some things about odd. So,
I've never seen the definition of
op-
odd.
oppositional defiant disorder. Defiant. Are you defiant, Culture Club,
Disorder?
brother? Yeah, they're calling it a disorder. if you are defiant.
I this is crazy. Disorder. I've never looked at this. This is
Mhm.
this is crazy. I've been called a resistor before. Now
N-
this is
Not only is it
ODD.
a defiance disorder, but you have to be oppositional, meaning you don't raise your hand to talk, meaning you don't ask if you can stand in line to go to the bathroom. You have to be oppositional to
The rules.
authority.
Yeah.
And then
wow.
defiance, I mean, that's just another word for oppositional, but it's a
Mhm.
disorder because you question
Yeah. Your
authority.
defiant and disobedient behavior to authority figures.
Wow.
So we're taught and brainwashed from kindergarten all the way up through even college. I mean, if you went to college, I had professors that would tell me, no, you have to agree with my assessment and write a paper on why you agree with me. You can't write the opposition because if you do, I'm going to fail you.
What? Who was your
In other words,
professor? Bill Ayers? I mean, this
they don't
country's
teach you to think, they teach you to think the way they do. And you
yeah.
better agree. Yeah.
I went I went to Rutgers, right? And was like interviewing people, right? And I could not believe that they're reading books from Bill Ayers. Like I'm like, okay, you don't know what the Weather Underground is? These people bombed the Capitol, like literally, like the most communist. How do you get into the education system? See what you're saying? It's like all of the communists and all of these people, they went into education and they became professors. These are the people teaching us. It's like
Well, they couldn't do it themselves.
scary.
So they had to teach
Right, right. You
they
get the little
couldn't succeed
soldiers.
in the real world, so they had to become
Mhm.
teachers. Yeah. So the cause of oppositional defiant disorder is unknown. Oh,
Wait a minute, the cause of it? Oh my god.
yeah.
I can't believe this.
But it likely involves a combination of genetic and environmental factors. Genetic,
Jeanette?
okay. You're intelligent. Could that be a reason? Because
Oh, I
most
never
people are
yeah.
not intelligent, right? I mean, if you go back and I mean, the average IQ is 100, right? So where do most people sit,
God.
right? So I would think that you'd have to be pretty intelligent in order to be defiant against authority. Um,
Absolutely, that's a great point.
yeah. So genetics could be a factor, but definitely environmental factors because, when you're told um, as a 5-year-old that never at home had to take a nap. But when on your first day in kindergarten, they tell you you have to take a nap, and you say, "I'm not tired. I don't want to take a nap." Well, you're gonna have to take one anyway. No, I'm not. I don't have to do anything, even at 5 years old.
That is the
Uh,
craziest story.
well, they kicked me out of kindergarten over it.
I've never heard of anyone getting kicked out of
I got
kindergarten.
kicked out, man. I
One of
didn't.
you and my mom's friend, her best friend got kicked out of is it the Brownies? I guess it's like the Girl Scouts.
It's because we wouldn't conform to what everybody else was doing. If you don't conform
Exactly,
to society's expectations, you're odd.
exactly. And it's a disease. This is shock. This is scary.
Mhm.
Was this definition always this? Or do
Yeah,
they
it's.
change it?
I don't know. With the invent of the internet, I don't know if it was in the old dictionaries that you could pull out a book and actually read it, read the
Yeah.
definition. But in here, it's saying all of these things. It's saying environmental factors, and it says symptoms generally begin before a child is 8 years of age. Um, they include irritable mood. Well, yeah, you'd be pretty irritated if you were told what to do and that you didn't want to do it. Argumentative. Of course, I'm going to argue for my own rights and what I feel like I don't want to do. And defiant behavior. In other words, you're defying my authority.
This is
Um,
crazy.
they say that we're aggressive
Yeah,
and
no,
vindictive. Yeah, vindictive.
that's a
Um,
strong word to be using for somebody who's odd. Vindictive. This
yeah,
is this. Think about the description here. This is like a
yeah,
dangerous person.
yeah. That's how they want to. That's how they want to make people believe that if you are defiant and you go against authority, something's definitely wrong with you mentally, uh,
No.
and that you're aggressive. They also have other. I looked in here further, and they said they treat animals badly, and they are unempathetic. Most people I know that are defiant or odd like myself,
Are they
I love
antici
animals. I love
exactly.
animals, and I have so much empathy for people that are being treated badly, and for people that are um, being oppressed.
Exactly.
That's the reason I'm defiant. That's the reason I'm odd, is because I don't think people should be oppressed in any shape, manner, or form. I believe in the purest form of freedom, man. Do what you want to do, go in life and do whatever you choose to do. As long as you're not violating the rights of somebody else, leave us the hell alone,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly. I agree with you.
But yet the
100
powers that be that create these definitions, I believe it's the government putting this kind of stuff
100%.
in. Yeah.
This is why I don't like digital stuff either. You
Mhm.
know, it like sometimes my brother, like I'll if I'm like in the Hamptons or something with I'm like, well, I have to go to the bookstore. He's like, just get it on the and I'm like, no, because they're going to get rid of it. Like I have I like physical books.
And
Okay.
yet we're conspiracy theorists, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And what is that? What is a conspiracy theorist exactly? It's a
Well, we
theory
have a theory that they're conspiring to control us. Oh,
and
wait. Didn't
so
we
what
just
happens
read
when we're
something
right?
that says that they are trying to control us? And if we don't bend the knee and do what they want us, we have oppositional defiant disorder.
And it's a
Something's
disorder
wrong
or whatever.
with us because we don't want to be controlled.
I mean, you know, asking questions, first of all, like if you ask questions, if you question, that's how you learn.
Well,
You
they don't
find
want to teach us to think.
no, they don't. Nobody can think anymore. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
there's no critical thinking. They want us to regurgitate whatever they teach us.
Yep.
And Rogue Nation in the house, he has mentioned things like confirmation bias. It's whatever we've learned throughout our lives. That when we're trying to learn something new, we just want to confirm what we already know. We have a bias for that, and we don't
Wow.
learn anything new because of it. It's
It's
all in how we were raised.
that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
It's all about how you were raised. That's why I feel bad.
indoctrinated.
Yeah. That's why
Yeah.
even, like, when I was covering NYCHA and stuff, you know, I feel bad for a lot of the people because 'cause they're just you can't if you're unaware and nobody's ever taught you I mean, that only goes to a certain point too, because when you have the capability to be able to research, you have to take responsibility for yourself at some point too. But,
Hmm.
you know, they're indoctrinating everybody.
Hmm.
It's like nobody can see what's literally right in front of their faces. Everything that
Yeah.
they do to us now, it's like done in plain sight. You know what I mean? That's how crazy everything's gotten.
What was your favorite subject in school?
My favorite subject, well, that, you know, I was always writing. Like, so I liked like the reading classes, English. I liked, you know, because I'm just somebody that would I like to come up with stories. I like to anything creative and artistic.
No.
I loved. And you know, luckily, I was homeschooled and went to a private school, very tiny, so I didn't really experience
You didn't
I
experience being the odd person in school.
yeah, like, I guess everyone I know was defiant. Like, all my
Yeah.
friends still I guess you
Yeah.
would call them defiant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, wow,
That's a good thing. Free
it's a
thinkers.
good thing. Free
Yeah.
thinkers. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm telling you, it
I,
has a lot to do. I agree with you with how you were raised
the
and
whole
where you
time
grew up.
I was going to school in grade school, I had to go in and Mr. Beagle, the board with the holes in it, I'd have to go in every day at lunchtime and get my daily spot just to get it done and over with
Yeah.
because I was going to be defiant that day, as always.
Wow.
They never broke me of it. So,
Wow. You know, thank God. Thank God they never broke you out of it. I know that was upsetting to them because the idea is
yeah,
to break everybody.
it
The go-
was. I mean, they'd bring me into this room with my parents and they go, "What's wrong with you?" And I'd say, "I don't know. I just don't like to be told what to do."
Wow.
But yeah,
You know,
something was seriously wrong with me.
wow.
I mean,
Wow.
I don't know if anybody can relate to that. Anybody in the chat, did you kind of go through any of those things? Because I think a lot of us are like-minded people. I think we grew up being a little bit defiant, or we at least ask questions of our government, or we
Yep.
see injustice and we want to make it right.
Mm-hmm.
So we think outside the box. I think most people in the 1A community, journalists, activists, I think we're all a little bit naturally critical thinkers and defiant. I think there's some intelligence there, and yet the government wants to make us out to be like we're lunatics, we're crazy, we're all nuts.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. But they're the crazy ones.
yeah.
Anybody that wants to control people in general like that, like people that want to control, that is just it's scary.
Integrity
You
Now
know?
News. I
Exactly.
was the black sheep and qualified immunity. I will not comply.
Yep.
Most of my friends were followers. Yeah.
Integrity Now News and I went to high school together, and I can guarantee that at least 95% of the people um, in that high school
Mhm.
were followers. There were those of us who
Us?
uh,
Nikki, were you a rebel?
in more than one way.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
have no idea, Cliff. No idea.
That's a good thing. It's a compliment, Nikki. My God,
look
I
at that.
can't imagine standing in
We're
line.
Rogue Nation. Dumb folks don't understand intelligence when they see it.
I love it. I love it. See, it's important to surround yourself too with like-minded people. That's another thing
Oh,
my parents taught me. Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, absolutely.
you have to
Because
surround
they can
yourself
help. They
with
can
like,
help.
yeah,
It's a symbiotic relationship. We can all help each other in
yep,
what we're doing
exactly,
and what we're trying to achieve. Oklahoma
exactly.
Outlaw Audit says, and my stepdaddy was a cop till I was 16. So yeah,
Wow,
I'll bet you had a lot of challenges.
wow.
Oklahoma Outlaw. Uh,
But to get
yeah.
back to what DeBravo was saying, um, surround yourself with like-minded people,
Hmm.
which that's what brought all three of us to this point.
Hmm.
Right.
Because, like I said, Cliff and I have surrounded ourselves with the 1A community.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you really
oh,
have.
wait a minute. Now we have somebody from a different genre. Completely different,
And no, actually like-minded though.
Exactly.
but
Yeah.
like-minded. So how can we reach out to more people, I guess, on your side if we're gonna do
Mhm.
sides or on your genre?
Yep.
How do we bring more people in to start seeing this?
Well, I would love, first of all, to do, some shows. I would love to do a show on my platform and bring you guys in on it. I think that it would be super cool. Um, because, I guess it's interesting. I I love comedy. I like making jokes and all that stuff. So I but that doesn't mean that I don't think a certain way. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I'm in an odd space because actually, say I wanted to like go in that career path, like, Saturday Night Live. I mean, I can't even watch it because it's such propaganda. Like, you know what I mean? You can go back and
Yeah.
watch. It's like what, but there is talent
Way
out here.
different than the 70s.
Yeah, you go back and watch the old stuff. Like my aunt, my grandmother, she used to love this show, Carol Burnett, and like different things, and like I just loved that like comedic, like like that slapstick stuff. Like it was so creative and clever. Now everything is just an agenda. It's really gross. So to be in New York, can you imagine? I mean, I can't walk out my door and get in the hallway and see neighbors and not be an odd person because they all think the same. But what the scary thing too is that what I realize is that a lot of them don't actually think that way. A lot of them think like us, but are afraid to say it. See, that's a serious
Yeah,
problem
I
too.
think there is tremendous fear out there. Absolutely.
Tremendous. And they want to so badly be a part of this clique, this crew that they'll do and say anything. And then they'll come to me and be like, oh, I saw on one of your YouTube. I just want to tell you that was excellent. I mean, I can't get out. I can't like or comment on anything. I'm not
I
getting
can't say anything out loud.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, well, thanks. Like,
Yeah.
say something I
Come
can't
on,
do.
people. They
And I'm
need to
like,
come out of the closet. I mean, everybody else comes out of the closet for all these other reasons.
exactly. It's like, come on. It's like, come on. So I think what we need to do, right? We should like make it a point to like do some shows together, on a schedule maybe. And, have you guys look at some of the stuff I'm coming up with, or you guys can show, and
Yep.
we have to teach people around us that it's important to not do this. Everybody in New York, look, you know how many people, you know what? I just start like bumping into people on purpose and they're like, oh my God. No, I swear to God, my father laughs at it. He's like, you're ruthless.
Well,
I'm like,
and how do they react? They go, "Oh yeah, no, that's excusable," and they're because they're doing the same thing, right?
yeah. And I'm like, so I literally, if somebody's walking towards me, like in the Central Park, because I love to walk, right? But I'm not doing this ever. First of all, it's dangerous. All right.
Yeah.
Number one, all these mic. Okay. But how are these girls? This is what they do in the park. How are you running or doing this? Okay. Right.
Yeah.
If you're walking directly into me, I'm just gonna let you, but I'm just gonna whack you. Now you'll put your phone down. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, come on, people. The whole world. Go to dinner with my parents. How are people on dates or with their husbands or families? And this is what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, and
We're
what are they so interested in?
Instagram,
That,
like, what are
that
you
they
looking
have
at?
to be on the phone like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're sitting with
They're
your grandmother, just, like,
obviously
eating.
not interested in other people.
And they're not interested in overall life. They're interested in what they can, what they're getting from a cell phone. They're
Isn't
not
that
What's made
interacting
up?
with people.
What's made up? What we're
Exactly.
told to believe.
Yeah, a
Exactly.
delusional world.
A delusion. And how about all the filters now? I mean, some of the stuff I do, like with the only scams, I would love to bring you guys on one of the scam thing. Like, here's the thing.
There's a lot of them.
You're talking to a girl that's literally a boy because these filters can literally turn you into a female or a male or what. I mean, what are
And
we
change the
doing?
voice too, right?
Yes, it changes.
Yeah.
I mean, some of this stuff is insane.
AI.
And they're stealing your money. They're pretending to be your, I mean, people are literally falling in love with bots, which are 12-year-old boys in Nigeria that are, scamming
This
you
is
for
why I'm going to Florida in October. Is I want to actually physically meet these 1A auditors and activists. I want to actually have one-on-one,
That's
face-to-face.
incredible.
And it is, and so that's why I'm going. It's because I want to really get to know the people too, not just online.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm happy you're going to be there, right? People have more access to information than ever before, but literally more stupid than the past 200 years.
Fact.
Yeah,
Facts.
that's pretty profound. Rogue Nation is, I mean, he's like an OG in the 1A community.
I love it. And I don't think I'm following you. See, now there's certain people. I mean, obviously, Stephanie, hello. Oklahoma audits, hello. I have somehow my thing here, it's connected up there, so it's a little behind. But I promise I'll get my Streamlabs thing working. I'll figure it out. StreamYard.
StreamYard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have it all figured out so we won't have any
Oh,
trouble.
you got to be following Rogue Nation. I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna follow everybody. I'm gonna go back in
he
the
puts up-
chat.
right now, he's putting out other people's videos because he's on 2-year probation for a felony. For filming.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, he was filming near a prison. And so they gave him 2
That's
years.
what we're trying to tell you, Culture Club, is our auditors who need our support are getting hemmed up. When we were talking beforehand about how you couldn't film on that public sidewalk,
It's crazy.
Yeah.
our people, our auditors, our activists are getting hemmed up for
Most of them don't get probation either. They just go to prison.
no, they go to prison, they go to jail, they
For
get
filming.
told you can't do this, you can't do that. That's why I thought it was a good idea to bring a different genre on here to try and spread the word. These people are out here risking their lives to make sure that we have our rights, but yet 99% of the people, like you yourself have said, are busy looking at their phones, are busy seeing everything else but what is going on around them. We need them to get their heads out of the sand.
And you have been pointing these things out, Dubrava, on Culture
I
Club.
do.
You make fun of all this social garbage that's going on out there, and
I do.
it needs to be made fun of.
It
And I
does.
love it that you're humorous when you do it, because I think people are much more acceptable when it's humorous. They
It's-
accept more.
I think, and it's like if you bring humor into it, which is what I'm trying to do, right? Maybe they'll hear it. So, because there are people that have come into, my chat and changed their minds. They'll come and say, you're being racist. And I'm like, wow, what did I say? I'm doing an accent. I said, so is SNL racist? Should they be canceled? Because I just saw them doing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
And then like,
They use accents. Yeah, they use cultural accents too. Yeah.
Right. So it's like, so is that what it is, or do you not like what I'm saying? There's a difference here, right? And then they kind of like think about it. And I've had a lot of people that have become like, my page is not big, you know what I'm saying? But it's like they understand, you kind of have a point there. You might be right. Maybe we are looking at this the wrong way, It is so important, Nikki, that people in general get off their phones and start looking at what is going on around them. It is nuts. It is nuts. New York is so out of control that people have gotten to the point in the city where they're just afraid to do anything. They'll just walk the other way instead of like helping some or filming, helping some. When the at the shooting, which I have a thing tomorrow night coming out about it, I found it so odd that I got so many messages and people in my building, okay, and they're, I won't even go down that path. We're talking about how this was staged and that because people were filming. I'm like, those are auditors. Can you imagine? You should be look at all the evidence that's coming out from the people's phones.
Yeah.
Like,
those are what's good about the technology and the cell phones is the cameras.
Correct.
Because
Correct.
the cameras are an unbiased witness, objective witness. It's not subjective at all. What you see is what you see.
That's it. That's it.
I think we've had a great show today.
So much fun with you guys. I'm going to put something together. I hope you guys will collab on my page and you can stream on your, let's try to get this movement going into my crew of people who are on
Sure.
something totally different. It's funny because when I started doing the crime and culture unfiltered, it's like how crime affects culture and culture affects crime. I was shocked at some of the reaction, the as my father would say, the prostitutes that I put on trial. A lot of those crew of people came to, watch that stuff. They were interested in it. So I think there's hope. you know, um, it's important. Our auditors, like I said, you are the key to us, especially local, the local level. Okay.
Yeah.
Locally, the local level, auditors locally are so important.
Yeah, all over the country because mainstream
Exactly.
media does not cover corruption.
100%. 100%. Yep. The government's corrupt, no matter which way you look at it.
Yep. So tomorrow night is when you're going to be putting something out.
Yeah, tomorrow night I have a live, and it's all government based. It's just about what's happening right now and how we're getting to the point where in my opinion, this is just a theory of mine, that we are literally losing everything, losing all our freedoms. We aren't even electing, like even local elections. They're just, if they can't win, they'll just implement it. They'll just place you. It's a Hegelian dialectic. Cause a problem,
Yeah.
create the solution.
Just
Right?
like our courts are violating their own laws.
Can you imagine? Look at New York City. I mean, we've
Yeah.
literally created something called the Adult Survivors Act
Yeah.
to prosecute Donald Trump. Like, okay, like the man, hate the man. I don't care. I don't care. You understand what I'm saying? But
Yep.
how are you going to create a law? You put Kathy Hochul in because Cuomo wasn't going to do it. Okay, you had to get rid of him. You got him gone. You put her in. She was in place already. They already knew she was going to go along. You put her in. Now she comes up with the Adult Survivors Act. So there is no statute of limitations anymore. So now you don't even need evidence. So you can say somebody EPAR'd you or essayed you or did this 45, 50 years ago because you think it happened in a dressing room in Bergdorf's, okay, whatever. And because a female said it, it's factual. No evidence. And then you have a judge who can literally change the definition of what being essayed or EPAR'd. You understand what I'm saying? Or what the
Yes.
definition of
Yep.
assault is. So now you have a judge that can literally take a definition of something,
Just
which
the
is
accusation too can.
and say if somebody anything from an unwanted peck on the cheek or a handshake that you felt was uncomfortable, that's considered that. How is
Oh
that
my
possible?
lord. Yeah.
Men are done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now
Well,
think about this.
That
Now
could that could backfire on the ladies too. They need to think
oh, it's
about
going to.
that.
It's going to. That's
Yeah.
next. Right? Because all these women that they're using to push these, what do you think's coming from them? Look at Fannie Willis. I mean, they use her, they're going to spit her out just as soon as they're done with her. That's how that works.
Yep.
Craziness. Craziness.
Well, everybody
Well,
be sure and go to Culture Club USA tomorrow night. What time are you
thank
going
you.
live?
On 9:00.
9 o'clock.
She has a premiere in 20 minutes.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So let's wrap this up, and we'll see Culture Club over on her channel. On her
Thank you guys.
premiere.
It'll be fun
Uh,
this one. I might get in a little trouble for this one because it's like, a boy is not a boy and a girl is not a girl. I
Rogue
was
Nation just
real quick.
sub to your channel, so that's
Thank you.
cool.
I'm going to go sub to everybody. And hello, KS Cop Watch, everybody that I missed in this chat. Hello. Thank you so much. Phyllis, hi. So good to see all of you. You guys are the key to life right now. Can't trust anybody. Can't trust the police. Can't trust any of them. You guys are important.
Absolutely. Any last words, Nikki?
Nope. I'm just, like I said, I'm just glad that I was able to talk you, Cliff, into bringing Culture Club up.
Didn't take much. Didn't take much at all.
You.
Didn't take much talking me into it at all. I love having
Well,
you here.
I mean, you did have a few questions of how are we going to
Fit it
um
together.
fit it
The
together, the different
two genres.
and
Yeah,
Yep.
I think we did
you
good.
know,
I think we did great. I'm gonna come up with something fun. And you guys, if you have any ideas, email me, text me. I think you have my number, Nikki. If not, I'll email it to you. I think you do. I'm not
I
sure.
do not
Oh, you do?
have your
Okay.
number.
Yeah, well,
Otherwise, I would have called you a long time
there
ago.
you go. There you go. Okay. Okay. Now, certain, I try not to because,
Yeah, yeah,
who's who
Yeah,
and what,
yeah.
yeah,
right?
Not
absolutely.
even going there.
I think that we are actually like-minded. I absolutely
Yeah.
adore what you guys do. I
Well,
really,
we
really do.
appreciate that.
I
We
really, really
appreciate
do.
that.
And maybe I could take you guys into the city one day. I'm trying to work on
Mm.
that now too. It's
I hope
difficult.
it's nothing
training.
like Hunts Point in the 90s
What
in
was
the
that?
Bronx. It's in
What
the
was it
Bronx.
like?
In the
You know what?
90s? Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
because my
I,
dad, he says Times
I
Square
had to keep
is
my truck
literally
locked
the
and I had to
70s.
carry a pistol in my truck. Really bad area in the
Let me
Bronx.
ask you real quick, were you allowed to? Because Kathy Hochul has
No, no, I
the
wasn't allowed to, but I
Oh,
did.
there we go.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Wow.
defiant. You're not going to tell me what I can and cannot do to protect myself and my
What?
life.
How is there any state in this country that does not allow the Second Amendment? I don't understand this.
Yeah.
How is
Yeah.
that possible?
Yeah.
I don't get it. But all the criminals have weapons,
Yeah.
but we're not allowed to have
Yeah.
them. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
these no gun zones are exactly where the criminals go.
exactly. Is that not nuts? And what
Oh,
they're
that's
doing
it.
with the
It's
laws
easy.
with the guns,
Yeah.
they've
Yeah.
jacked up the prices to get the permit. They make it so difficult to just even get a permit. It's
Yep.
nuts. Oh my gosh. I had so much fun with you guys.
Well, me too. I don't want it to end, but but you
We're
got
doing
to
it
your
again. We're
premiere.
doing it again. I got a premiere, but
Absolutely.
we're gonna do
Yep.
it again. Nikki, let's set it up. Let's keep this going. And I'd love to have you guys onto my channel. I'm gonna
Perfect.
I'll throw you guys some ideas and we'll see what we can come up with and collab.
My schedule's wide open. Nikki is who has the scheduling thing that you'll have to work out with her because
Okay.
she's got a job too. I don't. So
You-
this is my job. I love it.
Man, me too. This is my job too. And I will see, but you know what? Thank God I'm lucky. I've been blessed with good family. So my dad's like, do what you want to do. I'm like, all right. He's like, hopefully you generate $1 from it, but if you don't, whatever.
All right, chat. Wonderful to have you here. I'm going to go ahead and play our outro. It's really long. If you've already heard it, you're welcome to go. If you like it, you're welcome to stay. But I am going to play it right now.
See you guys.
In the heart of the Vigilance Committee, where the sun sets low and the spirits run free, we stand together, hand in hand, watching over the sacred land. We're the keepers of the flame. In the Vigilance Committee, we'll never be the same. Through the trials and the tests, we'll always give our best. Through the storms and the darkest night, we'll shine our light, we'll stand and fight. For the ones we love, for the ones we've lost. In the Vigilance Committee, we'll bear the cost. We're the keepers of the flame. high. We'll keep the watch, we'll hold on tight. In the Vigilance Committee, we'll stand tall. Together we'll rise, together we'll fall. We're the keepers of the flame. In the Vigilance Committee, we'll never be the same. Through the trials and the tests, we'll always give our best. In the heart of the Vigilance Committee, where the sun sets low and the spirits run free, we'll stand together, hand in hand, watching over the sacred in the heart of the Vigilance Committee, where the sun sets low and the spirits run free, we'll stand together, hand in hand, watching over the sacred land.